Real quick rundown on the solar system here. This is a double battery system, a dual battery system, if you will. These are Everstart 24 DCs. That stands for deep cycle in that case. These are run in parallel, not series. Parallel keeps your voltage the same. Series would increase your voltage. You want to keep the same 12 volts while increasing your amp hours. The more amp hours, the more gate cycles. I get a whole boatload of gate cycles out of this setup, but my charging is not through the board. Apollo will only manage 15 amps. I'm running through a Rover with two big solar panels up there, and that's a solar panel light up top. That is not powered by the Rover controller, although you could via the AC output here on the very end that I'm not utilizing. You could even run a plug-in down here if you were so inclined, to power light Christmas lights, stuff like that. Basically how this is working is you got the jumper conduit that allows you to jump the batteries in parallel, and then we get over here to the control board. I've got a photo eye, an exit sensor, a key control pad, and of course the remotes. The remotes are the long distance remotes via the red transmitter there. That's the nice high-end transmitters, and those work for like a mile away. They're really nice. The powering all the peripherals is coming out of this port right here, and the reason I built a distribution block because I didn't like trying to jam all the power into that one port. The reason you use that one port on a 1050 is that port is live all the time. Even when the board's in standby mode, as it is right now. You see the LED screen's not lit up, but the LED light is. So you basically can power, that port will power the max power. It's just basically a pass-through. That is protected by 30 amp fuse, but it's basically a pass-through, so it gives you as if you were hooking directly to the terminals of the batteries themselves. So it's a-okay to run a whole bunch of a little distribution block like that. I got this distribution block off Amazon, and then I built a little magnet block to mount it to. That way it would stick wherever I wanted in here, and it wasn't like dedicated. And all the different wires are connecting there for their power and then going to their final destination spot to trigger the board. Everything works really well. I'm running the high security keypad out there. It's a very nice keypad. I'm running the brand new photo eye that just released, and that's a really nice photo eye. I made all my brackets. I made all the brackets for double stacking these poles. I didn't want to have to sink this big heavy pole into the ground 4 feet because I live on solid rock. I mean, this is really rocky. If you can see, that's the rock I pulled out of that hole for digging just to put that little pole in a concrete base. But I would have been digging for days by hand. I don't have a post hole digger or anything like that. But it's a really tall pole. I would say it's 20 feet. But I double stacked it. I mounted my exit or my SOS sensor at the base there, kind of out of sight, out of mind. But I also fabricated its bracket. I just took some sheet metal and I bent it. Put a little Z in it so it has a standoff so I can bolt the unit to it, and then U-bolt it to the pole. Did the same thing on the cameras. That way I could U-bolt those, and also to the reflector, same thing. Built it a bracket and mounted it. What's really nice about the SOS though is that you don't have to worry if the police or fire come. It'll literally open the gate up by the sound of them chirping the yelp, and it's marked by the signs there, and they know to look for that kind of thing. But I'm really happy with the overall results of this project. when I bought this property, the prior two owners couldn't ever get the gate working according to the neighbors. Had a lot to do with that right motor over here was bound up, and then somebody was servicing it and bound this one up by forcing the screw rod in the wrong direction and messing the seal up. So I think they called out a service company and they couldn't even figure it out. But I got all the binding fixed and got everything running smooth. And now I've of course updated it and upgraded it. I even replaced the drive motor on this unit over here. It was a little weak, a little slow. But this keypad was a really neat addition. I was really happy to get that installed. That way I can program different people passcodes around the neighborhood for all my neighbors, and then also give the fire department a code. And they also have the Yelp feature, so that's a secondary system. But you just don't want to have a fire or an emergency here and then them not be able to get into your property. Some ordinances require that you actually have a key, a gate, a box mounted with a key, and you go give the fire department the universal key to your property. I live in the county. It's not the case here, but I definitely don't want the firemen just standing here and not responding if my house is burning down, or if I fall down my ravine and break a leg or something. I need to be able to get the ambulance through my gate. Anyways, this is just a quick little rundown of the video, a rundown of the gate, and I just wanted to show everybody how I put it together. Taking the charging off board is very untraditional. I actually reached out to Apollo to make sure I could do that, and found out that they had a 15 amp cap, because I was like, well, I'm going to put a whole bunch of power to it, order a couple of your little panels like what you see on top here, and put those in series just so I can keep up with the discharge rate of utilizing the motors during the peak hours of the day to charge them batteries back. Those deep cycles require quite a bit to charge. Well, 15 amp cap is not enough, and with this setup I can run 40 amps on a nice long sunny day, and it will charge those two deep cycles up really quick, like 2 hours, 2.5 hours from dead empty. I think 50 amp is actually considered starting level power, so it's only 10 amps away from starting level juice. That's what you would set a battery tender or a battery charger to. The ones that have the start feature, it'll have a 50 amp. But anyways, the rover controls it, it floats it, and makes sure that you don't overcharge your batteries. So that rover module is really key. And like I said, what's cool about it is it does have that power output of AC current. So you don't even need an inverter. If you wanted to run lights or something, you still have a 12 volt AC coming off that rover. Whereas, if you didn't have that, you'd have to wire in an inverter to convert it to AC if you ever wanted to use anything AC. If this light from Amazon, this big pole light, ever takes a crap, that's what I'll do. I'll just run it off of that rover and put a 12 volt LED street light up there and just have it pull off my big deep cycle system. That's eventually the goal, but Amazon had a deal on that light and I just couldn't pass it up, so I ended up buying that light, and I said, why not, I'll give it a try. One less thing to draw on the system, but in the future I'll probably be integrated into the big deep cycles. If anybody has any questions about this gate, please do ask. I'll be glad to answer. There's not a lot of information out there. Like I said, I completely rebuilt one of the actuators, including the tower. I did replace a limiting tower, and I went ahead and bought extras of everything just because I don't want my gate to be in a down situation. So anyways, if, like I said, anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to help to the best of my abilities. I'm only knowledgeable in the Apollo setup with the different brands of peripherals. Really, it doesn't matter who makes the peripherals with the Apollo board, but other companies, it's all proprietary, so I can't really help you with one of those proprietary systems. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.